We are.
Gentlemen, we're
Live to tape.
Live to tape this time.
There's no tape involved. This is all digital.
Actual. Yeah, it's ones and zeros going through the internet pipes. Yeah.
Tubes.
That's what it is.
No tape, though.
No tape.
No.
Hello and welcome to episode 960. Is that what I say? I suddenly forgot how I intro episodes. Wow.
You can only do one a week, and then
It's only been 960 some odd episodes.
yeah.
Sorry about that.
You think we know what we're doing by now?
Hello and welcome to episode number 967 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. I'm your host, Chris Johnston. With me, as always, from Canada is Mr. Greg Seward.
Yellow.
How are you doing, sir? Been so long.
It's been a week.
It's been so long since I last talked to you.
It's been a week and an hour.
And we were wearing the same clothes.
Yeah,
too.
boy.
Well, you know, laundry. I've done laundry.
Yeah, I did my
laundry every week.
in the meantime. So
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah. Did you get a Switch 2?
No.
It. Okay.
No, I did not.
Okay.
No.
We'll get into that in a second. Joining me from the great state of Washington is Mr. Phil Theobald.
hello.
Hi there, sir. How you doing?
Oh, just great. Couldn't be
Cool.
better. How about
Couldn't
you?
Be better. I'm doing
Did you get a
great.
Switch too?
I sure did.
What's it like? Do you like it?
It's outstanding.
What's your favorite game?
Yakuza 0, obviously.
What's your favorite part of it?
Obviously.
The beginning is fantastic. It sets it up
Yeah.
so perfectly.
Cool.
I mean, I'm just here
sounds awesome.
using the magnetic Joy-Con, putting them on and off the system just repeatedly.
Really satisfying, right?
That's enough game for me. I don't need anything else.
Give it a click. Let's hear it.
Okay, hold on. I can't show it on the broadcast.
Right.
But I will point the microphone down here.
Okay.
Where were you pointing the microphone?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that click?
I did, but I'm a little bit curious. I don't know if I want to know, but
Wow. That sounds
I
really
know.
great.
No, in case you don't already know, we were recording this episode before the Switch 2 launch because I'm going to be out of town and unable to edit a podcast, and we figured, why don't we just do an episode early? And
CJ's on a really just wonderfully timed trip.
I know,
Mhm.
wonderfully timed obligation. So
Yeah.
let's do an episode early. So that's what we're doing. So
CJ asked the judge if they could move the date back, and the judge said, "Nope.
Nuh-uh.
not gonna
You have
do
to
it.
appear before the court on your assigned date."
Yep, and
And now here we are.
Yeah, I couldn't. Couldn't get out of it. So no. So we're recording this well before we have Switch 2. So if you're expecting Switch 2 impressions, you'll want to come back next week.
You want to go to a better podcast.
Go to a better podcast. But we are going to talk a little bit about the Switch 1 and system launches.
Perfect timing.
Stuff. Yeah, but first, of course,
Ask yourselves, where else are you getting this content this week?
That's a really good
Nowhere.
point, Greg.
That's where.
nowhere. And hey,
Those
if you don't
quitters.
if you don't want spoilers for any Switch 2 stuff, you've come to the right place.
There you go. Once again, both ahead and behind the curve. That's us.
Correct.
We're like the podcast version of Sega.
the pre-taped call-in show.
The pre-tape college. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorites.
Yes, me too. I'll have to link to that in the show notes because
Yeah.
that Mr. Show bit is
Oh,
excellent.
brilliant.
It's very excellent. So look in the show notes for that. But yeah, first we're going to kick it off how we normally kick off a podcast, and that is with the news. What has happened this past week? Phil, what has happened this week?
You're putting Phil on the spot like that.
I genuinely could not believe Yuji Naka caught once again committing incredible his crime spree across Japan I did not think that he had the capacity to run an illegal stolen car smuggling ring.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
everyone stolen himself.
Yeah.
And like and it wasn't even like spread out over months. It was like one night he went out and he stole a car, stacked it on another car and stole that car, and he had a stack
Oh.
of like 35 cars at the end, all on top of each other, and he's in the bottom one driving it. And it's like, of course he's going to get caught. He tried to go through that tunnel and they all toppled over, and it's like, you know, you make great games, but you know, you gotta pay attention to the world around you. So yeah,
It's true.
in
fair, it's been
trouble
a
with
while
the
since
law
I've been
again.
drinking, but
But you know, this is the kind of excitement that makes us love the video game industry so much. Also, Microsoft's big announcement that Game Pass is coming to
Switch
every
2.
platform.
Yeah.
Every platform.
I mean, we were just talking about this last week,
Yeah.
and CJ
Called
was
it.
like, "That's never going to happen."
And then it did.
And here it is, a week later, and I mean, I just downloaded it on my play date. I'm playing.
That'd be
Look at
pretty
this.
good.
I'm using my crank here to play some Banjo Kazooie. It's incredible. Look at this.
Nice.
Let me load up Doom: The Dark Ages, and and the crank makes it perfect to aim. It's incredible.
Okay. All right.
So my goodness, what a week it's been.
I know. I was surprised, first of all, that Microsoft announced that Conker's Bad Fur Day was coming to Nintendo Switch Online.
I would pay for that.
N64 mature service. So that'll be good, right? And that Halo is coming to Nintendo Switch too.
Wait, are those real?
No, none of this.
See,
is
those
real.
sound real.
Those sound real. You're right. I should have made it more.
My stuff clearly made up. Yuji Naka is not running
Okay.
an illegal car ring
No.
that we know of,
Yeah.
and I don't have. I just have that digging up dinosaur bone game on the
On the
Playdate. I
Playdate.
don't have.
There's no Game Pass.
There's no Game Pass on there
Yeah.
that we know of.
That we know of. You think
But-
Microsoft would put Halo on Switch 2 though? That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know, but then you say like, oh, Conker is available on the M-rated N64. That sounds
Because
plausible.
I want that to happen. I want that.
That's not a good game. Don't kid yourselves.
Conquer, I loved Conquer.
It's not a good game.
Loved it.
I would check it out again.
I played it back in the day,
I didn't
and
love it back in the day.
it wasn't
either.
good. It's
Loved
not
it.
good.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
good.
They should bring Rare Replay to Switch 2. That'd be fun.
Well, if it was on Game Pass, they had Game Pass.
Then you can play it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Enough with the news.
Yeah,
Let's
I
get
feel like
that-
we've covered
let's get
everything.
that out of the way. Yeah. Let's
So what are we talking about this week? Because we did just record a show. This is
did.
when we normally record our after show.
That's true.
We're usually playing a Jeopardy game or an old game review quiz.
Yeah. This time
I-
we're not.
Because I'm going to tell you this: since our last "What You've Been Playing" discussion,
I
I haven't played anything new.
I haven't played anything.
just saw you play some Playdate. You were working your crank.
You know, he's
Yeah, but
he's
that
right.
wasn't the play date.
You were
Oh.
working your crank.
See.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna lower my play date here just off frame
Yeah.
and really have a go at it.
It's like that SNL sketch with Alec Baldwin and the Wii remotes.
Oh God, I made a mess here. Hold on.
No, I posed a couple of questions to y'all in our super secret private Slack.
Oh, I knew I should have read the Slack channel before.
Wait,
we
what
started
was this?
recording tonight.
Oh, you guys both thumbs up and thumbs up.
I just thumbs up
so-
everything you say, so you
I
leave me
just-
alone.
When I
Oh.
see I just clicked the little icon that Greg clicked. I was just like,
Oh.
well, if Greg
Greg
says thumbs up,
so yeah.
It's probably
I guess
okay.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Greg.
So we're gonna talk a little bit about some system launches and the Switch
Uh-huh.
at the top here, and kind of do it like that, and then we'll stop recording when my pizza gets here in a half hour.
Wow.
What pizza you got?
We got to go a little longer than a half hour, don't we?
We'll go longer than a half hour for sure. But
CJ will just be eating pizza during the second half of the show. What? Where are you ordering pizza
I
from?
ordered Domino's.
Oh, getting the
I-
good stuff.
Why?
The good stuff. Yeah, I know. There's not really like a local pizza joint that's any good. So
How do you
Yeah.
know? Have you had any local pizza joints?
yes,
Really?
yes.
Throw one under the bus. What's the worst one you've had?
I'm not gonna throw anybody under the bus.
Now, if you want a pizza,
Oh yeah.
have I got a play date cover for you, my friend?
I am very excited about that. Yeah,
I have.
that pizza.
You'll notice it's now 7:26 p.m.
It
Pacific
is.
time.
It is. All right. So the first question I put here in the Slack
Yes.
is our plans for our Switch Ones. We all have Switch Ones
Yes.
now, and they will be usurped by the Switch 2.
That's
And
true.
What are we going to do with our Switch Ones? So, Greg, what are you going to do with your Switch One when you happen to acquire a Switch 2? Do you have any plans for it?
Probably just going to move it down to the den, on the TV down in the den.
Oh,
Going to move it with the
So-
dock,
Yeah.
all that? Down
Yeah.
down? Okay.
So
It's hard to
I
hook
don't
it up to a
normally,
TV.
I don't normally get rid of my old systems. So
Yeah. So it'll be like
um,
in your retro space.
yeah, and especially knowing that, I mean, not probably that it won't really matter based on my library, but knowing that not everything will necessarily be backwards compatible
True.
is a reason to
Yeah.
hang on to it. But I would have hung on to it anyway. So
Yeah.
you know,
How about you, Phil?
well, my
Plans.
Switch One, I'm obviously going to keep it. Well, 'cause you know what, my current Switch that I have hooked up to the TV is the Pokemon OLED one that came out.
Mhm.
So I will obviously be keeping that one just as a cool collector's piece.
For sure.
I don't know. I might just have it because I don't have a we just have the one TV in the house, so it's not like I'm going to move it to another one. Maybe I'll just leave it bopping around here in my office so I can pick it up and just
Play some
play with
Picross?
it, or play a little
Yeah.
Picross,
Maybe.
or maybe maybe I'll just box it up and file it away for a
For a
future
rainy day.
collectability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am gonna probably put mine in because I have like a travel case. I'll probably put it in there and wipe it clean and put it
Ew.
in the
What have you been doing with it?
Rinse? Like, what do you?
carry case.
Yeah.
I will have fully moved to the Switch 2. I don't intend to like continue playing Switch 1 on Switch 1 generally, unless I guess after the launch, if it turns out that a bunch of games are not backwards compatible that I want to play, then I'll change my mind about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I also don't really sell old systems back.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just never really been my thing.
Yeah.
Probably to my detriment. It's probably why I have way too much crap in my house. But
Yes.
I'm not about to change. So
Yes, indeed. Well, gentlemen, it has been 8 years since the launch of the Nintendo Switch in 2017. Feels like forever ago. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that first year of games and any sort of memories, good memories, bad memories of the Switch 1 that y'all might have. Let's talk about the reveal trailer. First of all, I was so hyped after that initial reveal trailer because we had seen like mock-ups of what the NX is going to be and that little
God,
like
the NX.
teardrop shape thing that wasn't real at all and like based on the patent that Nintendo had filed. And I was very happy with what they announced in that reveal video. Just like even seeing the guy at the very beginning like pick up his Zelda game and bring it with him while he was walking his dog, like I thought that was super cool. Like here's a machine that you can basically just pick up and be playing handheld. Like the Wii U had become a system that I finished a lot of games on, specifically because of off TV play, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great for that. Very excited about the reveal. I was very excited about the Switch platform from the beginning.
I don't remember being excited about it.
Oh,
I thought
really?
it was interesting. In that it was like, I think for me, the more exciting thing was just finding out what weird new thing Nintendo was going to do for their next
Yeah.
home console, right? Because that had been like kind of Nintendo's thing for the Wii and the Wii U and then the Switch, but not being a big portable gamer at that point, and no longer really traveling for work or anything like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool, but I wasn't super excited about it. But the other thing that Nintendo's kind of done over the years, I mean, I felt ambivalent about the Wii U. I felt the same way about the Wii. I felt the same way about the DS and 3DS I was excited for. And all of those ended up being systems that I loved. You know what I mean? And like with the Switch, it kind of went the same way. It's like I was very sort of, nonchalant about getting one and everything. I mean, I still wanted one, obviously, because it's a new video game system, but ended up being a great system. So, that was Nintendo as usual, proving me wrong for not being excited about their new console.
And of course, a lot of Wii U games ended up on Switch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About you, Phil?
I mean, it's been, what was it? Yeah, what's it? 8 years?
8 years.
Can't
Since
believe it's been 8
the
years.
launch,
Yeah. I will be honest, I don't remember a whole lot from 8 years ago. I obviously was hyped, I'm a longtime Nintendo nerd, so I was definitely
here.
hyped up for this one. It really did feel like they had learned lessons from the Wii U, and some of the stuff that they were kind of prototyping almost. It felt like the having the screen controller sort of reaching its evolution with the Switch. Like it felt like they were really doing that sort of thing correctly.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was obviously very hyped for it. Because it came out right before I moved out here. So it was a tumultuous time for me. I was switching jobs. I was moving to a different state. So that whole chunk of my life is kind of a blur. Like I don't even remember where I got my Switch.
No, I got mine from Amazon.
You know what? I
that's where I got
probably
mine, too.
did. Was they
got mine
they,
from
they were
Amazon
still selling Nintendo stuff back then?
Yes, they were. And the launch day was like the last day of GDC. And
Okay.
I was at GDC that year and I had ordered it from Amazon, so it was being delivered to my house, and then got home from GDC and just waited for UPS to show up.
Okay. You know what? Yep, I got mine from Amazon as well. I just went back through my Amazon history.
Yeah.
So I pre-ordered it on the day before my birthday in 2017.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was after their big January sort of live stream where they showed off all the games that were going to be available in the first year of Switch.
Okay.
They had that.
Also,
and then they had all of those live events like they're doing with Switch 2, like all those in-person events.
Oh yeah.
For people to check out the system.
I also pre-ordered Breath of the Wild on that day.
Yep.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was definitely hyped for it, and it showed up, and I'm as we've discussed, I'm not the biggest Breath of the Wild fan.
Yeah.
But
I figured
I wanted to be.
on 1-2 Switch, right? I mean,
Oh, I didn't
Like the-
play 1-2 Switch.
I did play 1-2 Switch.
I didn't
1-2
play
Switch,
that. Yeah.
I bought just to have fun party games. I thought my daughter would really like it. And
Oh, really?
we did play 1-2 Switch a little bit, but not for very long.
And you know what? I never actually even picked up Snippy Clippies for as
What?
for as much as I
Blasphemy.
Wait,
Yeah. for as much as I
You-
did the little Snippy Clippy clip to the snip.
you have a character on this show
I know.
and you've
Man.
not picked up the game?
Just
You-
right behind the curtain here, and it's all.
I mean,
just-
okay.
it's a
Let me
lie.
ask you this, CJ.
This is a total lie. Everything I've known to be true is.
Let me ask you
false.
this.
What? What's that?
Have you ever panned for gold?
Why, yes, I have.
I don't. You know what? I need to see evidence of that. I don't believe.
I have actually on a family vacation.
Oh.
We went to a gold panning museum, and they had you could do it. Yes, so I have.
Oh, that's
Actually?
For
awesome.
gold.
That's awesome.
Where was
And
this
then-
at?
And then CJ
California
and his mom were
vacation.
listening to 2 Live Crew the whole ride out.
Face down.
Oh God.
Anyway. Yeah, it was in California. Yeah.
What's the anime Love and Prospector's favorite 2 Live Crew song? Can he sing a little bit of that for us?
I can't. Sorry.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
won't.
I won't. You're right.
You're a coward.
Yeah.
Um,
So looking at this launch lineup here, Switch 1. This
yeah.
was the launch day lineup. 1-2 Switch, Just Dance 2017, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Skylanders Imaginators, because that was still a thing at the time.
God.
Super Bomberman R, I Am Setsuna, Snipper Clips, Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, Shovel Knight Spectre of Torment, and Fast RMX from Shinin.
You know, it wasn't until I looked this up. I thought the launch lineup for the Switch, in my memory, the launch lineup for the Switch was incredible. Looking at this, I
Maybe
mean,
less so.
Zelda.
Less so.
Yeah.
Zelda.
I mean, Shovel Knight's really. Don't get me wrong, Shovel Knight's great, but
Yeah.
you know, I had already played Shovel
Yeah.
Knight, so
Yeah. I got Breath of the Wild, obviously, 1-2 Switch. I Am Setsuna and Snipper Clips.
I think I got I Am Setsuna as well, just because I felt like I should have another game.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting Zelda.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man, I wasn't crazy about Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I love Breath of the Wild so much.
Well, most people did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah,
fact.
Whereas
definitely
Tears of the
an
Kingdom,
outlier.
I still haven't finished Tears of the Kingdom.
See, now I love Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm actually really looking forward to going back to it with the
With
Switch
the
2
update?
upgrade.
Nice.
In part because you can have another save file. So what I might do with the Nintendo Switch 2 edition is play through the beginning of the game again as a tutorial and then switch to my other save file and just continue.
Skip ahead.
Skip ahead because
Yeah.
well, I think I mentioned it on the show. I have a fast travel point in the castle, like at the
Hmm.
very end. So I'm at the end of the game. Basically, I just haven't done it yet. So
Okay.
and now I'll get to do it in glorious 60 frames a second and 4K and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, I got Breath of the Wild. I bought Shovel Knight again just because I really like Shovel Knight and
yeah.
just wanted to have a new game on the system. I actually got Skylanders.
I did too. Now that I'm remembering it,
Yeah.
I got Skylanders.
'Cause,
Imagineers.
Well, you know what? At the time, Finn was what was this?
Really into that stuff.
2017.
2017.
Yeah, so he was 5. Yeah, Finn was huge.
I remember you talking about
Oh,
that he
yeah,
was super
he
into
was-
Skylanders.
Really, really big into Skylanders.
Yeah.
And we had because Imaginators was the one that came out on like the Wii U.
Yeah.
So this and you know whatever the other contemporary systems of the day. So we had the Wii U version of the game, and we still have all of his little Skylanders toys.
Ah.
So
Awesome.
and you know the Wii U was being disconnected from the TV, so I was like, oh well, good. we can still play the new game. You know, he can still play it on the system.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah, did get, and actually the Switch version of Skylanders is actually worth quite a few bucks these days.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
just because it was not a I don't think it was a particularly huge print run for it. And
see.
obviously the Toys to Life stuff was
On its way out.
on its way out.
Yeah.
So
I
yep.
see. Well, looking over at the games that came out from Nintendo first party in 2017, here I'll share this tab instead. Quite a super good lineup here. All of the games that are that have N here are published by Nintendo. So 1-2 Switch. We got ARMS in 2017, Flip Wars, which I don't remember at all. There's an eShop game, I guess. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Pokken Tournament DX, Super Mario Odyssey, Splatoon 2, Snipper Clips, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That right there, for being a Nintendo first party year one, that's pretty great.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, you had a couple of pretty great in there, but I mean, I don't know.
I was so hyped for Splatoon 2 at the time, like, because I loved Splatoon
I guess that's
1.
true.
Yeah.
So I was big into that. And then Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey,
and
Yeah.
even Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which I did play and really like. There was a lot good there. ARMS, I played a ton of ARMS as well. I was big into this first year.
I wasn't, but I mean, I was like Mario Kart 8. I was excited about, even though I'd already played the hell out of it.
Yeah.
On my Wii U. But
and we didn't know what a huge game that would be for the Switch.
Right?
No.
Yeah. It's like, oh wow, they're re-releasing it
to sell.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it only
Fair.
came out like a month after the Switch came out. It was like the next game.
Yeah.
It was.
Mario Odyssey was the real big one for me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey.
And of
Crazy.
course, Picross S.
Picross
The
S. Yeah,
first.
this list has partner titles on here too.
Yes.
Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I played the first one of that, and I enjoyed what I played of it. I never finished it.
I bounced off that one pretty fast.
Golf Story. I played a bunch of Golf Story.
Golf Story was really good.
Great game. Too bad about Sports Story.
Yeah.
Picross S. Obviously, I've been playing that too. I did pick up the Street Fighter.
Oh yeah.
The Ultra Street Fighter collection. Yeah, and that was fun.
Well, this was not the collection.
This wasn't the collection. This was something different.
It
was like a.
Isn't this? Wait, which one is this? They've done so many.
I know.
Is this? This isn't the one with the HD, like where they redrew all the sprites in HD, right?
No,
that was
I
a
don't
different one.
think so that was a different one.
Okay.
Maybe.
Oh,
I'm not sure.
It's an updated version of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It has the classic pixel art and the HD art.
Oh, okay.
So it does have
It does have that.
Yeah, it has the redrawn sprites if you want to have those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just basically an updated version of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
I see.
But yes, I did buy that as well.
Nice.
I spent a lot more of these games than I did.
I tend to buy a bunch of games
at launch.
I'm kind of doing that again on Switch too. But I figure I gotta have Yakuza 0 Director's Cut. Ridge Racer is just awesome, so want to support that. And I guess Fast Fusion is sort of a question mark. Like I didn't play Fast RMX,
which was a launch game for the Switch.
a launch game on Switch. But it's only $15, so I picked it up for that. But I'm not buying Welcome Tour. So,
Yeah, that seems. Yeah, I'm still salty about Welcome Tour.
yeah. Okay, so we've talked about Switch One a little bit. I want to talk about console launches in general, and I want to kind of begin by talking about the first console we got at launch. Like, I know growing up, like the NES, I got, I don't know, a year or more after that thing had come out. So I didn't participate in console launches until much
Well,
later.
it didn't feel like console launches were really a thing.
Not really, because there
Like,
wouldn't be like a
not
launch
what they are now.
day. It would just kind
Yeah.
of show up at the store and
Yeah,
hype around it.
like I feel like that didn't even start to become a thing until like
The 90s.
the Genesis and Super Nintendo era, really, like with Mortal Monday and stuff like
After
that.
Sonic Tuesday.
Yeah,
Blame
exactly.
Sega for this,
Yeah,
I think, right?
I mean, blame is one word you could use. Yeah,
Sure.
but for me, I do remember the first system that I would say I was excited for the launch of, and I got. I mean, I don't think technically on launch day, because again, launch day wasn't really
Hmm.
a thing. Was the Sega CD. That's the first system I remember paying close attention to when it was coming out, having the money ready for it.
Yeah.
I did it in a roundabout way because, of course, back then where we didn't have sort of proper launches for things, and especially around here where I grew up, like you didn't necessarily, that stuff didn't necessarily hit stores around here when it was supposed to.
Yeah.
But I was all in on that. I was so excited for that system, and I ended up getting it pretty soon after launch. But it was the first time I remember paying attention to something like that.
Hell yeah.
You know, now that you say that, I think it was the same for me.
Yeah,
Yeah. 'Cause
Same for me.
Oh, really?
Really?
Sega CD
Yeah.
is our first
that's awesome.
launch.
Because
I
I
did not
did
expect
get
that.
I got the Genesis very early, but it was shortly after it was released because my friend had gotten it. So I mean I probably got the Genesis like a week or two after its release.
Oh, really? Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah,
gosh. I didn't realize
I
you had
didn't have the
gotten it
money
that
for
early.
this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, because my buddy Jim got it, you know, at launch or like, you know, within a week after that, and I played it. I went to his house and played it.
Mhm.
And all he had at the time, you know, he didn't get any games for it. He just got, the Altered Beast, which came with it.
Mhm.
So we played through that in 20 minutes, and we were like,
Mhm.
"Whoa, this is amazing!" But then, shortly after that, because I had just graduated from 8th grade, so I had gotten a bunch of money from relatives as a graduation present, and I had used that money to, at the request of my mother, open my first bank account. Which, you know,
Nice. All right.
Lame.
You tell a 8th grader, "Oh, you got $200? We're gonna put that in the bank." You know, you don't want to hear that.
Can't spend it. It's going to
Yeah.
accrue
Oh,
some interest.
that's exactly what it was. Oh, the more you keep it in there, the more money you'll get.
God. Yeah.
And it's just like, ugh. So shortly after I played the Genesis at my friend's house, I convinced my grandmother, who was
Sneaky.
a wonderful woman,
Sneaky.
who was a
Wow.
wonderful
This
woman.
is sneaky.
And
This is the Phyllis story ever.
she loved me so much.
Mm-hmm.
She took me to the bank.
Jesus.
She
I
taught
emptied the
you
account.
about withdrawal slips.
I said to the bank, I need to withdraw my money. And they said, well, this will close your account.
Please don't tell my mom.
And I said, well, you don't understand. There's a new
Yeah,
Sega
that's
system.
okay.
So we closed my account. I took all the cash. Grandma drove me over to Toys R Us. I bought a Genesis and a copy of
Ah.
Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh, perfect.
And I came home and had
Tossed
to
Altered Beast to the side.
tell my mom what I had done.
Wow.
She was not happy.
That was the last time Phil's mom spoke to Phil's grandmother. Phil's
But I
been
was
tearing
like,
his family apart since the day he was
I
born.
Wow.
I need the Genesis. It's so good. Maybe you don't understand. This is a 16-bit machine, Mom.
It's got 16 bits.
It's
Mom.
like
Arcade
That's
graphics.
twice the bits that crappy Nintendo has.
Also, keep in mind too that I had not convinced my parents to, because what was it, when I was going into 6th grade, they bought me my Commodore 64.
Oh, right. 'Cause that was a
So
computer.
I did not get an NES until a couple years later because my parents refused to buy me one because we just got you that computer that plays games.
We have
So
Nintendo at home.
I didn't get my NES until Christmas of '88.
It was still before I got earlier than I got mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And then, half a year later, I'm closing out my bank account to buy a whole other system.
Really, really teaching your parents the fact that they were worried that you were going to get addicted to video games. They had every reason to be worried that you were going to get addicted.
Exactly.
To video games.
Hey, I'm working in the game industry now, so it all paid off, right?
It all did.
My father
Yeah.
used to up till probably the year he died, I still heard him say that every now and then because my mom brought this up recently. He was so worried about how much time I was spending on video games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ruin my life, and I mean, right out of high school, he wasn't necessarily wrong. I don't know if it was video games they were the cause of it, but
Right.
I was pretty aimless out of high school and, flunked out of university and everything like that. So,
Yeah, but that's just because you're stupid. That
It's
doesn't have
true.
anything to do with
but
motivation.
then we started the website and I actually got a job and went away and got paid to do this stuff. And for
Right?
years, he would tell anyone who would listen, it's like, I thought he was wasting his money or his time on those video games, but turned it into a career.
Yep.
He was like super proud
Can
of
be
that.
done.
Good.
Yeah.
That is outstanding.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got the Genesis and like the Super Nintendo, I didn't get until Zelda came out. That was what finally broke me to buy a SNES.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you were saying, Greg, the Sega CD, that's the one I was, following it in the magazines. I knew people who had imported the Japanese one.
EGM was doing awesome coverage of the Sega CD.
They really were.
Yeah, they were.
And, it was on the cover of the magazine a couple of times, and they had so much great information on it. And I was just pouring over those pages.
I think it was
every
EGM that
time.
had a page about the Mega CD that had the animation of the sort of load screen of the Mega CD.
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
clouds.
it did.
And
All
it was
around
just
the
border of the page, and I just kept looking at that like, oh my god, this is gonna be amazing.
amazing.
All those screenshots of Funky Horror Band.
Funky
Woodstock
horror band.
Funky Horror Band. Yeah.
Yep.
But
Which I had. I bought
Oh yeah. Did
Oh,
you really?
Really?
at a certain point.
That is
yeah.
not
That's
good.
hilarious.
I don't think it's a good game.
It's not.
So, I mean, the Sega CD was the first console that I bought at launch, and I bought it at Babbage's, I think at the Charlestown Mall in St. Charles, Illinois. And I don't even know why I had pre-ordered it there. I'd put a deposit down.
Yeah.
Why at that store? I have no idea. Maybe it was because had gone shopping with my mom, and
Oh,
we happened to
geez.
be at that mall.
Mhm.
So then I had to drive over there, and then I think I've talked about this on the show. It was busted. It was broken.
Oh,
Like it wouldn't. The disk drive would not pop open. And
Really?
so I had to call customer service, and they had to ship me out a new one, which took a couple of weeks. So
Oh, jeez.
So that's interesting because I love, by the way, that our Switch 2 launch episode has turned into a Sega CD episode. I am all for this.
of course.
So I had a similar story
Hmm.
because I was, like I said, things didn't show up here in a timely fashion here in Nova Scotia at the time. And I was so hyped for this thing, and I had the money, and my aunt happened to be going on a trip to Florida
Mm.
right around the time it was coming out. So I was like, well, okay, like I'm gonna, give you the money, and I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but we did it. Give you the money because we thought I thought it would be months before I could get it here, and then you can ship it back. Like you ship it back up to, don't carry it with you, ship it back. So she did, and so it showed up. I was so excited. This package showed up, and it was the Sega CD, and I plugged it all in, hooked it up, pressed power, nothing happened.
Yeah.
It did not work. And I don't know if you remember this, it was reported, and actually, if you look on the original Sega CD box, there are little arrows, this end up arrows.
Right. Yeah.
Because there was an issue where if they were turned upside down in shipping, it did something to them that they might not work. So that's probably what had happened, because there was no this end up. Like my aunt, when she packaged it up, hadn't done that. So yeah, I was so crestfallen when I turned that thing on, and it was like, oh my God. And I didn't know if there was a place to get it. But that was actually my best friend that I mean, this would have been around the time I'd probably known him for about a year. Jim was working at a local game store, and I decided, well, if there's anybody that can help me, maybe somebody there might know how to fix this thing. And I took it over there with me, and they had a stack of them for sale. And Jim didn't know how to why I don't know why he would have known how to fix the thing, but I was a pretty good customer there. Like, it was a rental and sales place, and it just so happened that the owner of the store happened to walk in, and he says, like, what's going on here? And Jim kind of told him what was happening, and he just kind of thought for a minute, and then he pointed at it was a giant stack of Sega CDs. He's like, just give him one of ours.
Wow.
Like,
oh my God.
What? So yeah, so they did basically a return for me, and I took it home that night and played my Sega CD, and I was
that's awesome.
happy.
Wow,
yeah, it was amazing.
That's too good.
I was working at Babbage's at the time, and I had ordered it from there, and I got mine, and it worked. I'm sorry.
Your story sucks.
Sorry, my Sega CD worked fine when
all I had was the box and the manual for Cobra Command and Night Trap.
Cobra Command.
Hey, those were the games I got.
Those are the two. Yeah.
Was Sewer Shark a launch game, Greg?
Yeah,
I believe it was.
Okay, then I had that one as well.
I didn't pick up Sewer Shark.
I'm trying to remember what
or the robot fighting game or whatever.
See, the thing is too
Black
about
Hole
this
Assault.
Black Hole. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
you know what? I don't think I could afford a game, but that was the great thing about the Sega CD is that it came with like 5 or 6 games.
Sherlock Holmes,
Soul Feast,
Soul Feast, and then the 4-in-1,
the Genesis sampler, yeah,
and the CD plus G disc.
I was in the CD, and the music sampler. No. That was the first time I ever heard "They Might Be Giants."
Oh, that's right,
because they were on that sampler.
Well, it was not. They weren't on the CD plus G sampler.
No, they were on just the music sampler.
Yeah, there was a
music sampler.
I guess it was just, hey, look, you can play CDs on this system.
Colors of Modern Rock, I think was
the Colors of Modern Rock. That was what it
is.
Yeah, so that was the thing. It came with. I mean, and that was back when
what They Might Be Giant song was it?
Mammal.
Exactly.
Mammal.
Yeah. That was the thing. It's like, because we were always sort of sold this whole thing about how, well, when they're just pressing CDs, it's super cheap, so they can pack in a bunch.
Yeah,
Sega did, and it was like a music sampler, a CD plus G sampler, a 4-in-1 Sega Classics disc, although it was supposed to be 5-in-1, and it was eventually 5-in-1.
Yeah,
Sherlock Holmes and Soul Feast.
Wait, it was supposed to be 5-in-1. What are you referencing here?
It was supposed to have the Sega Arcade Classics was Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Columns. What was the fourth one? Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, Columns.
Was it like Super Monaco or something?
Well, so EGM had reported that Super Monaco GP was one of the games.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't on that initial run. It wasn't on the disc. Eventually, it was. There's a 5-in-1 version of Arcade Classics that has Monaco.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, I did not know that. Huh.
I could go on and on about this, but anyway, I didn't have the money for a game, but it came with so much that it was just like I didn't feel like. I mean, I had tons to play. So yeah. I love the Sega CD so much. I don't know if you can tell, but
well, I also got an Atari Jaguar at launch.
Oh my God.
Here's the
lose a
thing,
bet?
though. Well, Game Fan, I blame David Halverson, quite
yeah.
frankly, because I was a Game Fan reader, and he really went on about how
Should-
great Cybermorph was, and
You
later
should blame whoever put acid in the water.
yeah, whoever put acid in his coffee. Yeah, and at the time, like my dad had bought some Atari stock, so we were because it was super cheap. It was
That's
like less
awesome.
than $1. It was so cheap. And so we were
That's
like
awesome.
all in on Atari news and things like that. So I don't know if you remember, like at the time they launched the Jaguar in only like 1 or 2 markets, and New York
Mhm.
was one of those markets. And
Because they had no money.
that's also true. But what happened was I worked at Babbage's at the time, and we did a store transfer because no one in New York wanted to buy the Jaguar. So we did a store transfer, and
That's
I was able to
awesome.
buy the Jaguar and Cybermorph. Yeah, from Babbage's, and that was a lot of fun. I was the only one hyped for the Atari Jaguar launch
In the world.
in
No,
the
I'm not.
world. No.
So okay, what others? I mean, I like I said, I'm totally happy to sit here and talk about Sega CD forever. But
Yeah.
other system launches. What other system launches?
So Saturn, I was working at Babbage's at the time also for the Saturn launch, and I remember.
I feel like the Saturn launch is more infamous than famous, but
Well, I remember talking with, or like I got a call from my store manager who's like, this in-store or this like corporate email says that we're getting the Saturn tomorrow.
And you're like,
And
that can't be right. That's
can't be
gotta be a
right.
mistake.
but it's not Saturn Day yet.
No.
Sega Saturn Day.
But then they did get the Saturn in, and I was working that night and bought one.
Oh,
I had the
out
money.
of the blue.
So yeah. My dad came in with his checkbook because I didn't have checks
Oh,
on me
love
or
it.
something, and I paid him back. But yeah, bought a Saturn at launch on launch day
all right.
because I was working that night.
That was another system that I was like obviously paying attention to because now I was system launches were a thing
Yeah.
at this point. But I was ready for September. I honestly
Yeah.
I wasn't even ready for September. I was aiming for September,
Yeah.
convincing myself I would have enough money by then for this friggin' expensive system. And then it came out and I was not ready for it. So I was working at Microplay at the time, which was again sales and rental, and I got them to put one aside for me.
Oh.
And that thing sat on the floor in the back room of Microplay for at least 3 months.
Oh wow.
Until my boss finally said, like, look, just take it home and like just pay us back in installments. It's like, okay. And yeah. But
Wow.
I didn't get it at launch because I couldn't afford it at launch,
Yeah.
and I wasn't expecting it to launch.
Yeah.
That
expecting
seems
it
to be
either.
kind of everyone's problem.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was there for the launch of the PlayStation 2 in Japan.
Yes, you were.
In part because Sony had like a PlayStation press conference or like a press event around the launch of the system. So I was news editor at EGM at the time and was able to like go to that. Or maybe it was when there were 2 Tokyo Game shows. There was a spring and a fall Tokyo Game Show at that time. So maybe it was around then, but it was like launching the very next week.
Didn't you bring home a few of them in your suitcase?
Yes.
Or something like that? Yeah.
Yes. So I was there. I was not the only one there from EGM at the time. I think Mark McDonald and maybe John Riccardi was there too. And we waited outside of Yodobashi Camera in Shinjuku, and we were figuring we're going to be there all night. We lined up like, I don't know, at 7 at night the day before, and stood there in line. And then at a certain point, like 11 o'clock, the people came around with tickets and said, okay, like take these tickets and come back at 6 a.m. and we'll start selling them. So did that. Was very thankful to get some sleep and not have to be outside in Tokyo all night. And yeah, I think even somebody, I believe there's footage of me.
Yes,
There's
I
like
remember
B-roll
this.
of people buying the PlayStation 2 at Yodobashi Camera,
Which
in
is weird
Shinjuku.
because you're probably pretty hard to spot in Japan.
He
know,
blends right
right?
into the crowd.
I know. So I think I'm like in the background or in one of those videos. But yeah, and then bought like multiple systems for EGM. And like you said, I basically like unboxed the systems and controllers and cables and all that stuff. And what I had done is I had brought a suitcase inside of a suitcase, and then brought clothes that I was planning on, like socks with holes in them, or like t-shirts that I wasn't planning on wearing it again, and like basically just ditched that stuff in the trash when I was in Japan, and brought home, yeah, at least 3 or 4 PS2s.
I'm pretty sure that's where the Expert Gamer PS2. Well, maybe John Riccardi might have brought that one back because he was still working there. But
Yeah, including
anyway,
my
yeah.
personal. I bought a PS2 for myself at the
Right.
time, and brought that back as well. So, and I had Beat Mania had just come out on PlayStation 1 with like the controller, the turntable controller. There was like a DX version of the
Mhm.
controller. So that was out at the same time. So I really just had this bag full of game stuff back, and I went through customs, and I remember sweating it a little bit because I didn't put on the customs list that I had
How much
for
everything?
Oh my God.
4 game systems.
I
What?
found it.
What'd you find?
What? The picture?
AP Archive. I found a YouTube video.
Yes.
Japan Sony PlayStation 2 launch.
Yeah.
I found you in the B-roll footage.
You found me in the
Didn't one of
B-roll.
our editors end up on like the Metal Gear Solid launch, Japanese launch footage or something like that as well?
Oh,
I
yeah.
want to say that
think
was a
so.
thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the documented Metal Gear Solid 2. Like I think.
Yeah, but I mean, not
you
as
were-
not as somebody they sat down to interview or anything. He just happened to be in the crowd.
I
Isn't
just
Mark
sent you a link,
McDonald?
CJ.
Okay. Am I gonna have to bring up the still of this?
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Oh shit.
I mean, I have pretty fond memories of the PlayStation 2 launch too, but it was the US one. But that's because you and I waited in line outside of Best Buy.
we did
overnight.
Yeah. Oh, I have good memories of that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Where is this now?
the
Just
link
look for
should
the
have
gigantic white guy.
It
The link
didn't. It
should have-
didn't bring me to it.
go to the 40-second mark.
40 seconds.
There you go.
Let me turn down the volume here. Oh shit! There I am.
Oh yeah, very clear.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Yep.
That's funny. Wow.
And yeah, right before that 40-second mark, that you can see like they have the big Yodobashi camera sign, and the line is all in front of the store.
Yeah, with my
But there
big
you
ass
go.
winter coat. Yeah, because it was cold. It was still winter. It was like February or it was like late February. in
Yeah.
Japan. So yeah, fun
That's
times. And then
hilarious.
yeah, Best Buy US launch with Greg
Mm-hmm.
No.
being in the alley behind the Best Buy. It
I'm
was great. Oh, I'll be
sad
right
I
back.
missed that.
Pizza's here. I'll be right back.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that was that. Well, that is definitely the first time back when like midnight launches were a thing.
Oh,
or
yeah,
waiting
yeah.
overnight. Like that was definitely the first time I ever did anything like that. Wasn't the last time, but it was definitely the first time. But yeah, that was awesome. I have so many fond memories of that night.
Yeah,
In
no,
general.
I remember because I was at Expert Gamer for the PS2 launch, and I remember,
Yeah.
a lot of the guys from all the different magazines talking about doing the midnight launches and stuff. I was still buddies with the people from the Babbages that I used to work at
Okay.
at the Fox Valley Mall in beautiful Aurora, Illinois. So I had
Next to the Stan Mikita's Donuts.
no, sadly, that was outside the mall. But I had pre-ordered my PS2 from that Babbage's. So
I would say out of all the system launches, the main ones that I remember being excited about the launch lineup, that was the system launch that I bought the most games.
Oh, really?
PS2.
PS2.
Mm.
I think it probably would have been Dreamcast, but I imported Dreamcast. So by the time it came out here, I already had the launch games that I wanted.
Ah,
You know what I mean?
right.
So
Yeah. Yeah, and well, Xbox and GameCube. That was a great time.
my fond memories of those obviously are because of working at EGM at the time.
Absolutely,
and
because of
producing
working at EGM.
one of the all-time greatest issues of that magazine.
Yes.
I think the Xbox versus GameCube issue is right at the top, along with like Too Many Games and a couple of other
Totally.
big ones. But yeah, that fond memories of that, but not because of retail, because of sitting there and just being absolutely surrounded by all the launch games and playing these systems. And yeah, boy, that was something else.
Well,
Yeah.
and you remember that Microsoft sent Ziff Davis a bunch of
Yes,
systems too, and we had a lottery
yes
on the EGM side for who would get the
Oh,
Microsoft provided
Mm-hmm.
Xboxes. I got one of those. Did you,
Yep.
Greg? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
yeah. I got
And
an Xbox from Expert Gamer.
okay.
Yeah.
And that was a fun time. And I ended up buying a Pelican Accessories controller or a Mad Catz controller, and obviously Halo.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were, as a group, we're all in on Halo.
We were so in on Halo.
Yeah.
Like EGM was so behind that game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk launch games now. Like favorite launch games that you think are actually good games and not just good launch games. Because you look at launch lineup for a lot of consoles, and sometimes there are games on there that you probably never would want to play again. Like Altered Beast.
Going back to the PlayStation 2 launch, SSX, that was a launch game. And it was an amazing launch game.
That was an amazing launch game. Yeah.
And Ridge Racer 5.
Yeah.
For me,
Still
Ridge
one of my
Racer
favorite.
5 is the top PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
Launch. So good. Really, really good time.
I mean, Soul Calibur. You have to say Soul Calibur.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what an incredible launch game.
For Dreamcast.
For Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And personally, I think a lot of people don't pay attention to GameCube, but GameCube had like a pretty cool launch.
I was just going to bring that up. People were all pissy about Luigi's Mansion at the time. Everyone wanted Mario 64.
That's a great game. Yeah,
but
people were expecting Mario 64 and it wasn't. So they.
But Luigi's Mansion, you got the original Monkey Ball.
Yes.
And
Pikmin.
Was Pikmin a launch game?
Yeah. And also
well, I was gonna say Star Wars Rogue Leader.
But then Smash Brothers came out like very shortly after.
Yeah.
It wasn't a launch game, but it came out like 2 weeks later.
The Rogue Leader I have very fond memories of as well, because when we were working on that launch game issue, they brought that for preview and we got to play, and it looks so incredible.
Yeah.
They brought it for preview, if you remember, so we could include it. But then while they were there, I think they called Ed Log. Wasn't he working at Nintendo at the time? And he said, "Oh, that build's actually reviewable." And we ended up reviewing it. And I remember, Phil, did you review that with us too?
You don't mean Ed Log. You mean a different Ed.
Ed, what the heck is his name?
I don't remember his name.
Anyway,
I don't think I did.
It was me and Crispin.
Yeah.
And I want to say maybe it was Shu. We sat in our AV room where we had to play our Nintendo games because they were never allowed to be out of Nintendo site. Ken Lob. That's it. Anyway, we sat there all night, and played, the three of us passing the controller around. And I was the one who finally finished the final mission, like as the sun was coming up.
Oh, geez.
It was amazing.
Yeah, I was not in the room for that.
it was such a throwback to, you know, being a teenager and renting a game with my buddy Dave and
Right.
just sitting up all night until the sun came up playing the game. Like that's how it felt. And I'm sure it colored my review, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I remember we just jumped out of our seats when we finished that game. It was such an amazing experience.
Also, for the record, Pikmin was not a launch title for
It
GameCube.
wasn't? What?
It came
Are you
out like 2 weeks later.
Oh, okay.
It was launch window, to be sure.
So did it come out at the same time as Smash Brothers Melee?
Let's see. When did
It must have.
Super Smash?
December 3rd, 2001 is when Pikmin came out.
Yes.
And then December 3rd, 2001 is when Melee came out.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, same day.
That was
That was like, why were those even spaced out by like 3 weeks? That just came
Yeah.
out at the same damn time. Very good games though. I was so the GameCube versus Xbox issue of EGM. I was fully on the GameCube side of things because I was and still am a lifelong Nintendo nerd, and just their games appealed to me more, even though I think I said that Halo is so good.
That seemed
Yeah.
to be the general consensus, was that we all thought Halo was the best launch game out of the two systems. But yeah, I remember going with Xbox because I felt like it had more potential.
Yeah, and I think that was true.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, it was a difficult choice no matter what.
I mean, I loved Luigi's Mansion. I know a lot of people didn't, but I was like, this game is so up my
Yeah.
alley.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is for sure a favorite. Launch games for Xbox One and like PS.
Xbox One launch games past Halo
4.
were pretty rough. I mean, there's Project Gotham. Wasn't that launch?
Was that 360 or
Was that 360? That was
I moved on to PS4 and Xbox One, not the first Xbox, but
Oh, sorry.
I maybe moved too far in the future. But then, like, thinking about launch games for the Xbox 360 and PS3, I don't think there were any that were like super amazing.
I
And
mean, well, there was
Ratchet and
Project
Clank didn't
Gotham.
come out until
Project Gotham Racing 2
later.
was like the 360 launch game, I thought, because it was I mean, it looked so amazing, because that was one of the first racing games I remember that had like car interiors that looked almost real. Anyway,
R.I.P. Bizarre Creations.
Yeah. Oh, Call of Duty 2 was a 360 launch game as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
I bought Call of Duty 2.
Yeah. So that's a pretty big launch list, actually. I mean, there was Condemned, Need for Speed Most Wanted, Cameo, Perfect Dark Zero, King Kong, the official game of the movie.
Yeah.
Project Gotham Racing 3.
Please use the full title.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie.
Thank you.
So I mean, it was a pretty decent launch, but it's funny because even looking at this now, it's like, yeah, but it's not up there.
Yeah. PS3, abysmal launch, really. And the Ratchet and Clank game was not a launch game. It came out, I think, a month later, maybe more. But yeah. So is that it for launch memories? Because we do have some tweets.
Well, let's do it. Let's do some tweets.
We have some. I'm
Getting
sorry.
late here.
We can go to the blue skies.
The blue skies.
There we go.
Oh, you're not.
Oh, you're waiting for my song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for your song.
I want to.
We're waiting on you, bro.
I already did the song this week, so I'm not used to doing
again.
it twice. I want to fly sky. Let's go together.
Alrighty, let's
Sure was something.
do this
How
one.
dare you?
Hacker alias, it's all jazz, who says, do you think more non-Nintendo consoles will come to NSO? Have you bought any of the NSO classic controllers, and which controller would you want them to release?
I have bought all the NSO Classic controllers. I
Me
also
too.
have a GameCube one pre-ordered.
Me too.
Ask me how many of them I've used.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, how many of you used?
I have not
Zero?
used a single one of them.
Holy cow! I've used all of them.
Have you really?
I have. Yeah.
I have bought them purely as collectibles.
Okay.
I have not used a single one.
I have not
I
bought
have,
a single
especially
one
the
of them.
N64 controller, because playing N64 NSO on
Oh
the,
yeah.
on the Pro controller or on the portable system itself is not great. So
I don't know that any more non-Nintendo consoles will appear, but I don't understand
Any-
Nintendo's.
do you have any that you wish would appear, like Dreamcast or Saturn?
Well, I mean, that would be
TurboGrafx
great, but I
16.
don't.
I
Pretty
would
good.
love
I don't know why. Yeah. TurboGrafx 16 would be right up on top of the list.
TurboGrafx.
That would be sweet. That'd be really sweet.
As you recall,
Was
on the-
on yes.
was on Virtual Console back on the Wii.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the
So-
thing.
and
Every
also
time we talk about this
Konami-
stuff, I just get irritated that we've gone so far backwards compared to what they were on the Wii.
The fact that Konami owns all the Hudson stuff now
Yeah.
makes me think the TurboGrafx 16 might actually happen because, Survival Kids just came out on the Game Boy. That's a Konami game. And
Yeah.
there have been Konami games on or on NSO. So
Yeah.
what's
would-
stopping
I would
TurboGrafx?
love to see.
Yeah, and now
I'd
that
love to see
they've
it.
now that it's been a while since the TurboGrafx Mini and mini consoles don't seem to be a going concern anymore.
Yeah.
it could. You're right. It would make sense.
I'd love to see the Turbo on there because a Turbo is one of those consoles that I don't have
Yeah.
any nostalgia for it. So I would actually
Yeah.
maybe dig into it more with that.
Well, I know I did when it was on the Wii Virtual
Yeah.
Console.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this one from Mr. Jason W, who says, is CJ going to sell his second Switch 2 pre-order to Greg? No, I am not.
Greg is just learning about this. He was really counting on it.
I know. I am not planning on doing that. That is my daughter's Switch 2.
I was going to say, isn't it your daughter's?
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, Greg, you're on your own.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. All right, let's do this one from Hacker Alias Benjamin Rivers,
I know him.
who says, what was the most difficult game-related item you ever had to move from one house to another?
Because Ben's moving right now,
He's
right?
moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So this
He already
What's
told
yours,
me that
Ben?
he's already broken some of his Sega CD cases.
it sounds like you have an answer in mind for yourself
Oh,
that you didn't share. How
it's very
dare
easy
you?
to break game cases. Yeah, I had a Ratchet and Clank, big old statue.
Oh,
That
Was it the Dread? Was it the no?
No,
Or-
it wasn't one of the magazine freebies. It was like one of those collector statues. I forget
Okay.
what company made it, but it was one of those where it's like all of these sort of limited edition statues would come out, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I wish I could get that." And then the Ratchet and Clank one came out, and I was like, "All right,
you got me.
full stop. You got me. I'm getting the Ratchet and Clank one." So I bought that. It came in this huge box with styrofoam. Was most of it. It was like 90% styrofoam, and you had to like lay everything in a certain way. And moving that whole thing was like the toughest thing to move because it could break very easily, and it in fact did break easily.
Oh,
Very similar to my Sonic, was it 10th anniversary?
10th anniversary.
Statue?
yeah.
Yes, to
Where
have one of
the
those.
finger on
Oh,
Sonic
no.
Oh no.
like broke off in a move. Yeah.
Oh no.
So,
You didn't save the box for that, huh?
No, I didn't. I had not saved the box. For
Oh,
it. So
see, that's why I saved the boxes for all of those.
not a bad idea. Not
Yeah.
a bad idea, but yeah, it didn't happen.
Difficult video game thing to move. You know what? For me, oh, you know what? My slot machine.
Oh.
I have a Lupin the Third slot machine. That
It's
is
cool.
It's a Japanese slot machine. It is functional. But it is big and heavy.
Yeah.
and a bit difficult to move and fragile and hard to repair or replace. So
yeah.
yeah.
Is it like a Apache slot machine?
No, it's a slot.
It's
a
an actual
regular
slot machine.
It's a slot machine.
Yeah. It's
I'll
not Pachinko.
I'll try and find a picture of it and show. Oh yeah, here's there it is. Let's see.
Well, did you put it in Slack or?
Well,
I'm getting the link here.
I'm loading it up. I'm loading
CJ's
up.
getting impatient.
Well, I want to be able to share it with the people who are watching
Oh.
the YouTube version. You see,
Okay,
that's
well
how.
here, hold on.
That's how we roll.
Someone has a picture of it on Reddit. This is not mine.
Okay.
It is identical to mine.
I will load this up now, and then our listeners / viewers will
Yes.
be able.
Listeners won't be able to see it.
They won't be able to see it, but
well, I
they'll-
mean, they're listening while they're viewing.
yeah.
But there it is.
That's Apache slot machine, isn't it?
No.
There's a difference, right?
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just remember doing a lot of research into that stuff for the Ridge Racer video. Doesn't really matter. Anyway.
Okay. Anyway,
Yeah,
cool slot
what makes
machine.
what makes Apache slot?
I don't remember. There's a difference though. One is based on skill, one is based on luck. The idea is that if you're clicking to stop the reels,
Oh, this one is absolutely a luck-based one.
okay. So you don't hit a button to stop the reel.
No.
You just pull the crank and it goes until it
Yes.
stops. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Cool. But yeah, I picked this up back when I lived in the Chicagoland area, when I was living in beautiful Schaumburg, Illinois. And I was commuting from Schaumburg to Oak Brook, work at Ziff Davis. One of the back road routes I had to go from home to the office when the highways were too busy. Drove past a store of some kind. It was like I don't really know what kind of it was, just like a dude with a store. I don't know what this place. You would go into this place,
Sounds
and I went
shady.
in there one day just out of curiosity because I would drive by it, and I was like, I have no idea what this store is. It looks kind of sketchy. I wonder what they have there. And I went in there, and it was like they had a lot of off-brand food, and they had a big section of air rifles towards the back of the store,
Like you do.
and they had a big selection of Japanese slot machines.
So bizarre.
And
That
it
is
was
bizarre.
it was weird. And again, I have no idea what it was called. I kind of got the vibe that it was just some guy owned this place. It was not in like a strip mall or anything. It was just like a lone wooden building off on the side of the road. It was weird. But I was looking at the Japanese slot machines, and they had a Lupin the Third one. And I love me some Lupin the Third, so I was like, "Oh my goodness, I gotta get this."
Heck yeah.
And got it, I did. So
That thing is awesome.
yeah.
Love it.
Anyway,
All right. Greg, did you already answer this?
No, I didn't, but I don't really. I mean, my game collection traveled to multiple different places with me across multiple countries. But I didn't have anything in particular that was big and bulky to move. The game collection itself was just big and bulky to move.
Yeah. Well, that's for sure.
That's one of the reasons why I sold my NES collection.
Yeah.
Was I kind of got tired of carting 700 NES games around
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
from
No good.
apartment to compartment, or did I say compartment?
You did.
Said
Apartment to apartment.
This is how big some of my apartments were. 'Cause they felt like
Yeah.
apartments, you say.
In there.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and state to state, I was just like, I don't need a copy of Snake Rattle and Roll that bad.
No.
that I need to be hauling these everywhere.
That's right.
Shuck them.
All right, let's finish up with this one from listener Brian, who asks us to please predict the announcements that will happen on the second episode, since you won't record next Sunday.
The second episode.
So Dreamcast definitely coming to NSO, and Seaman will be one of the launch titles, and it'll use that little microphone that's on the Switch 2 hardware. You'll be able to talk with your
All right.
Seaman. Prediction.
I don't know what we're doing.
What are we predicting?
I don't know. Well, what's going to happen in the world?
Oh,
this is
don't
just-
get me going on that.
Yuji Naka has been discovered.
Wait a second.
What?
You did that bit earlier.
We already did this.
I guess we did. We did.
Oh
But
my
you know
goodness.
what? You know what I'm predicting, or I'm hoping
What's that?
everybody has a fantastic week.
Wow.
This week, Switch 2 launch, very good. Also, we're gonna have a Keeley presentation, Summer Game Fest. So there'll be lots to talk about. We won't be here talking about it. We'll have to talk about it a week later.
We'll talk about it next week.
We'll talk about it next week.
Unless you're a Patreon supporter, in which case we'll be talking about it in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So
Yes,
get in your
indeed.
questions last week for us to discuss on our upcoming episode.
Remember,
which
taking
we
care of the elderly was 2 weeks ago.
We'll record it 2 weeks from today.
If you're calling in now,
About pet care.
pet
You're
care.
You're too late.
You're too late. Oh my
That's,
god, I'm gonna go watch that before I go to bed, and it's already
Mr.
12:30
Show,
here.
Mr. Show,
Oh my
Mr.
God.
Show reference. Yes,
So funny.
and I think that's where we end. This
Well,
episode.
all right.
Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us or would like to comment on something you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Blue Skies, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. Here you'll find our contact information. You will find blog entries about the Sega CD stuff from Mr. Greg Stewart. You'll find Generation 16 episodes, and you'll find show notes and links to all the things that we talked about in episodes just like this one, but maybe just a few links for this one. I don't know. They're talking about Switch 1 and
You gotta link to that
Chico's.
video of you in Japan
the video of me in Japan at the PS2 launch.
hanging out at Yodobashi Camera.
That's right. 6 a.m.
Which was that the one in Shinjuku or?
Yeah, the one in Shinjuku. Yeah,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Not too far away from the Keio Plaza Hotel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Is that where Ziff would always put us up?
Yep. We always
Yeah.
went to the Keio Plaza.
Yeah, that was
I think that's
certainly the one.
because Ed Simrad would always go to that one, so we just continued on.
Oh, really?
And I
That was
believe so.
Ed's hotel of
The
choice.
Sem Radical Hotel.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, in between his visits to various soap plants in Kabukicho. No.
You guys are terrible.
I mean,
I mean, when you're there, you
it
may
was
as
kind of an
well-
open secret in the office. My goodness.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll find show notes and links to all the things we talked about during this episode. And there's a link to our Discord server where we can discuss this episode with us and our other listeners.
I always liked that hotel. The one time
So-
I stayed there.
It's a nice hotel.
Well, it was a nice
It wa-
hotel,
It was nice. I have no idea. I stayed there in 2016.
but
Then I
also
went to Japan for something else.
it was the KO Plaza. But in my head, I always said KO Flying Plaza.
Of course.
There it is.
Because
Of course you did.
that's the kind of guy I am. There was a video game that was released many, many years ago called KO Flying
Sega CD.
Squadron.
For the Sega CD.
It was
This
a
really
Sega-
turned into a Sega CD episode, and I am very happy.
right. It was a
Yeah.
fantastic cute 'em up shooter.
Hmm.
You played as a little bunny girl riding a dragon,
Yep.
shooting up a raccoon army, a tanuki army, I suppose.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Good game. There was a sequel for the
Yep.
Saturn that was a platformer.
KO Yugekitai, I think it was called.
Yugekitai.
KO Yugekitai, yep.
Yeah.
Which I had imported back in the day.
Yeah, I still have my copy.
I believe I sold mine a while ago.
Hmm.
Anyway, If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting playeronepodcast.com or by loading up your favorite podcast listening app. See, this is the same thing as the stupid song. I just did this. My brain is not wired to do this outro twice in 1 week.
Now you know how I felt at the beginning of the show, and I'm like,
You're right.
How do I begin this again?
Here I was like, CJ is a fool.
I know.
A
now
rube.
who is the fool?
But now I know your pain.
You do.
Yeah. What do I say? So we're on. Is this where I go into like we're on Spotify?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
We're on. You like us on Facebook? Watch the video archives of our show on the YouTubes.com/P1 podcast, or you can watch us live most weeks. See, this is why I always say most weeks. It's because it's pretty much always at the same time, but not this time. Most weeks on the YouTubes or the Facebooks or the Twitch.televisions. Tune in to go look at our Blue Sky account to find out when we are doing our next live show. Typically, clearly not always, but typically it is Sunday evenings at 5:30 specific time. So join us, won't you? And I'll tell you what, if you like what you've heard, and how could you, head over to patreon.com/P1 podcast. There are a few shekels our way. Sometimes we use the Patreon funds to purchase new video game hardware.
Like this week.
Like
some of
us. Like this week.
Yeah.
So your support genuinely helps our show, where we can keep bringing all of our nonsense to you, talking about the hottest new game releases, which we will be doing next week. Unless you're a Patreon supporter listening to it this week, because the next week will be this again, but then please tune in. It'll start making sense eventually.
At some point.
Why start now?
Yeah.
And if you have a couple bucks left over, why don't you head over to patreon.com. Oh, wait, I didn't go into the bonus episode. Jeez, I'm so flustered. CJ, I'm sorry for thinking so little of you earlier in the show.
See, this is what I'm saying.
It is. It really messes you up. You get so used to the schedule, to the routine. If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier,
cheap.
Greg says cheap. You get the weekly bonus episode. We play games, crack wise, having fun doing all the stuff we can't do on the regular show. There is no after show this week, though.
This is the after show.
No, this is the weird exception, because this show was last week's after show. Unless you're already a Patreon supporter listening to the after show this week, which is this show this week, and then next week there won't be one because this is next week's show.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does.
But we appreciate your support. And if you have a couple bucks left over, why don't you go to patreon.com/Greg Stewart to help support Greg's outstanding, and it is far less confusing web series about North America's favorite runner-up, and clearly one of our favorite launches to talk about, the Sega Genesis and the Sega CD.
Right.
And this is when you talk, Greg.
Thanks, Phil.
See?
You didn't actually say the name of the show. I was waiting for you to say the name
Generation 6 is Generation 16. You know what it is.
Well, I know what it is. It's my show.
I hope so.
Discombobulated still.
Thank you, Phil. And if you are a supporter of the $3 variety, also cheap, blah, 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 you get
also cheap. I'm sorry. We just did this like an hour ago.
You get early access to all the new episodes. Please consider supporting the show.
I had tuned out. I had the Netflix up. I was watching some TV.
What I love is that it's literally pushing 1 a.m. here.
Boy,
you guys are the ones who are having trouble.
Yeah.
That's going to suck for you, Greg. I'm sorry.
It does suck for me. I'm telling you.
Do you know what time it is here?
No.
It doesn't matter. This is eternal damnation. Time is meaningless. So it's always late.
Thanks for your support.
Oh, thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Is that it?
God, let it be it.
CJ,
Yeah.
thanks.
Thank you, Phil.
Absolutely. I hope whatever this trip of yours is was worth it.
It definitely is.
Okay. Gregory.
Yo,
Thank you.
thank you, Philip.
Go to bed, Greg.
I plan on it.
And again, a big old thank you to you, our wonderful listeners, every single darn one of you. As always, take care of yourself, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. And please, we'll see you next week. Unless you're a Patreon supporter, in which case this week is when we will be
They
seeing
get it. They get
you
it.
now, and then we'll see you
Bye-bye.
a week
Bye bye.
after.